look at today are 3D model plans. You should know from your National 4 and 5 course that a model plan is where you look at an item that you want to make on Inventor or any other 3D modelling program, and you try and put together a series of instructions through sketches and words and dimensions that would allow someone who's good on that software package to then go and make that product. You had a go at doing these at National 5, so you should be fairly familiar with how things are set out. But a couple of little rules that you should bear in mind. Anything which is in the sketch mode, and you should recognise where that is. If you don't, it's the part where you've got the square paper on the screen. That's the kind of simple way of saying it. So when you're in the sketch mode, you're going to use sketches and notes to get your information across. What we don't need from you is every single click of the mouse. So I don't need you to say click on circle and then click on the centre of this line, then make this circle 20 millimeters diameter. You don't have to do all those kind of things. All you have to do is use some basic sketching skills, add on some dimensions and some notes around it, and from that you're able to communicate the 2D part of it. So this is all the 2D part. What the examiner is interested in is your 3D commands. And what they want to be able to see is that when you look at something like this on the screen, you can recognise which 3D commands would be best suited for doing it. Just to illustrate that, we'll have a look at this one here, and I put this on the stream this morning, so if you've had a look at the stream, you should be able to see the PDF that contains this information. It's just a basic syringe, and what we're going to look at is the body part of it. Just this part here. We're going to ignore the plunger because I'm going to get you to do the plunger. I'm going to take you through just doing this part over here. As I said to you before, what we're doing is looking at this and asking ourselves which 3D command is going to allow me to make this most efficiently and in the easiest way. For me, when I'm doing it and I see something circular or something cylindrical, then I immediately think of the revolve command. So what I'm going to do is use the revolve command to create this. However, you might look at it and say, well, actually if I did a profile down here and then another little profile there and then I did a profile there, I could loft between those, and then I could extrude from there up to another profile here, and then I could get another profile and extrude there. Yes, absolutely, you could do it that way too. And if you're comfortable doing it that way, using the loft and extrude commands, that's fine too. When I'm doing this, I'm going to be using the extrude command right at the end just to add on these little handles that come. So you should think about these models having a combination of 3D commands. It's very unusual that you'll be able to do it with just one. So let's get started. I'm looking at this, and if I'm going to do it by revolve, then the first thing I'm going to do is put on my axis that I'm going to revolve around. Now I'm quite tight for space here, so I'm going to move this just off to the side a little bit to give me a tiny bit more space, and I'm going to sketch in my axis that I'm going to revolve around, and all that is a centre line. I'll zoom in a little bit so we've got a tiny bit more information. I'm looking at the syringe, and it's got me the heights over here, which is useful because I'm going to need them, and it's got me the diameters that I need too. So remember, what I'm doing is I'm looking at half of this, and I'm going to sketch half of it with the dimensions, and then I'm going to revolve it. Its outside diameter is 25 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is imagine this axis of revolution going down through the centre, and I'm going to draw what's on the right hand side. I could do the left hand side, but I'm going to do the right hand side. So coming out from here, simply draw myself a little horizontal line, then I'm going to come down the outside. It's quite difficult, I'm fairly cramped where I'm working here, but I'll do my best. And then I'm going to come across here, and it ever so slightly changes angle there. I'm just going to exaggerate that a wee bit so that it's obvious, and then I'm going back to my axis again. What I need to do now is add on these dimensions. If that diameter is 25, then what that tells me is that distance out from there to there would be the radius, which is going to be 12.5. When I'm marking on the dimensions, I don't have to worry about using British standard conventions. Nobody's going to mark you down for not having arrowheads filled in, or perhaps having lines not quite in the right way. The only reason you get marked down for that is when you were coming to do one of these actual production drawings. However, it's probably good practice to, where you can, try and stick to them. So I've got this distance here, and looking at my sketch, or my drawing that I have on the screen, I can see that that distance there is 72 millimeters. I'm then going to add on the distance down here, which is a further 25. And just to finish off, I've got another little tiny dimension down the bottom, which is a further 5 millimeters. And I'll just put that out to the side so that it's not clogging things up too much. I have that diameter and I have those sizes. What I don't have is that diameter on there, but it's going to be the same as that because it's parallel down the outside. But what I do need is this diameter here, so I'm just going to put a little arrow pointing that way, and another little arrow coming in this way, and if I move this up, we can see that the diameter at that point is 8 millimeters. I'll zoom in a wee bit so you can see that. 8 millimeters, which means that's 4. And when I get down here, that diameter reduces to 6 millimeters, which means that is then 3. And that's all I have to do is draw that sketch. I don't have to type in the commands that I would draw a horizontal line and then draw a line perpendicular to that and then draw a line at an angle. I don't have to do any of that. All I have to do is complete the sketch. So then beside this I'm going to put a little description, finish 2D profile, then revolve 360 degrees, and I could put in brackets just to be fully sure, full turn to make a solid. And that is all I have to do for that main part of it. Let's just zoom back out a little bit here. So that's me completed that part there. However, it's a solid, it's not got the hole going down through the centre of it. It's a completely solid shape, so I need to think of my next command. And you should hopefully be looking at that and saying, well, shell would be a good command for doing that because it's got the same thickness of wall all the way down. So shell is a good one for doing that. But what I need to do is sketch what this V shape looks like. So over here, I draw myself a quick little pictorial sketch of what my syringe looks like. Comes down there till it's get to its smaller diameter, and then this little bit till it gets to its final diameter down there. So there's my little solid shape. What I have to do now is communicate to the person looking at this how I'm going to hollow this out. So I'm going to do it nice and simply by putting an arrow on the top, and I'm going to say shell from this face with, and remember shell works on wall thickness, and I have to work out what that wall thickness is. If I look down at the bottom here, I can see that the outside diameter at this point is 6, and that diameter there has got a diameter of 2, which means it's a difference of 4, so that wall thickness here is 2 millimeters. And I could confirm that at the top because my outside diameter there is 25 and the inside is 21. Sorry, I'll bring that down. outside diameter 25, inside diameter 21, which means it's got a wall thickness of 2. If I do it from here, remember when I get to the bottom, what might happen is that instead of it coming all the way through to the end there, it might cover that over. So I have to remember to say when I'm doing this, shell from this face with wall thickness 2 millimeters and remove bottom face 2. And I could put a wee arrow around there just to make it absolutely certain. And that person looking at that now knows that once I've done that, I'm going to end up with something that looks a bit like this. I'm just going to move this to the side so I've got a bit more space to work on. And now what I'm aiming for is creating these little handles that come from the underside. What I've made so far is from the underside of these handles all the way down to the bottom. I've made it as a solid by using that profile, and then I've shelled this out. How am I going to make this next part? Well, again, it's just about thinking how would I do it if I was on Inventor, and probably what I would do is on the top surface I would then create a new sketch. So what I'm going to do is put over here the top part of the syringe. So I've got the outside diameter, and I'm going to put the inside diameter there, and I'm going to put just part of that going down. And just to make it clear to the person marking it, I'm going to say that this is top part of the body, just so that they know what this is. So that's like an enlargement of this over here, but after it's been shelled. What am I going to do from that? Okay, so I'm going to put a little sketch showing what this handle looks like. Nice basic little sketch like that. I'm going to put over here sketch 2D profile on top edge. So that's me saying that I'm going to put it on that edge there. What do I need on this sketch? Well, I have to put on the information. So I've got my two little centre points, which are shown up here, and in between them I've got a distance of 50 millimeters. What else do I need on it? Well, I need to put on these sizes here, and that's a radius of 5, and I could be doubly clever and put it over here as well, just to make sure it's correct. Radius 5 and radius 5. Now, for those of you who are a little bit more advanced, you'll know that that's actually at a tangent there. Now, you don't have to say it's actually at a tangent. I would just say line connects at a tangent to circle. Once again, don't worry about that because we will be covering tangents when it comes as part of the course, so you'll understand a bit more about it, but if you are quite good at maths then you'll probably have an idea what a tangent is. And I'm going to try and not go off at a tangent. What am I going to do now? Well, I have to try and show on this that that's going to get extruded, so I just need to put a command beside it perhaps. So I'll say after profile, then extrude by, and the distance I'm looking for over here is 3 millimeters. And I could even put a wee arrow beside it to say that I want it to extrude in that direction. What you're trying to do is make sure that anything you put on here is clear to the person looking at it, and I think that's fairly clear. That's almost there, but what we have to remember is that this handle actually has got a hole going down through the centre of it, this hole here. The last thing therefore I have to do is I'm going to re-sketch this after it's been extruded. I say, I apologise for these sketches because I'm doing this in a very constrained area, but I'll do my best. And bring that down there. And then I can show the syringe going down the way. What am I going to do now? Well, I'm going to sketch this inside diameter circle, the inside diameter I'm going to get from here, which is 21 millimeters. I suppose it would even help if I use something like different coloured pencils for doing maybe the sketches compared with the solid outlines. So that would be something to consider. And beside that, I'm going to say sketch profile of circle diameter 21 at centre. So I'm telling the person it's going to be right on the centre of this shape. Finally, the arrowhead there is pointing to it. Extrude circle by subtraction, and I need to go at least 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters to make opening. And that's me just explaining once again to the person reading it exactly why I'm doing these things. So let's have a quick recap. We sketched a profile of half the syringe, put our necessary dimensions onto it, said finish the profile, and then revolve a full turn to make it a solid. And that was step 1. So let's make it dead clear to the person looking at it. Then I shelled from this face with a wall thickness of 2 millimeters and removed the bottom face too, and that was step number 2. This is step number 3 over here, where I sketched a 2D profile on the top edge. I made sure that my dimensions were on it, and after that I said extrude by 3 millimeters, and I've put a little arrow pointing up the way. Finally, step 4, I sketched a profile with a circle of diameter 21 at the centre on that top edge, and then I extruded that circle by subtraction 3 millimeters to make the opening. And that would be our complete model plan just for the body of that syringe. What I'd like you to do now is look at the plunger part of the syringe, which is a little bit trickier, but that's why I've left it for you to do. The reason it's a little bit trickier is, well, it's a more awkward shape, but the process is just the same. But then when you get to the top, you'll notice these little grips around the outside, and for that you're going to be using the circular array tool. So that takes a little bit more explaining. You're going to have to make your notes and your sketches just a little bit clearer. So I hope that was helpful. I'd like you to now go away and think about it. Sketch your model plans, do it any way you like, and then attach them as photographs, and you can send them back in, and then we can have a look at what we've got. If I can manage to do it, what I'll do is create a little PowerPoint with anyone who sends things back in, and I'll put that on the stream just to let you see how your classmates are doing.